everyone. Welcome to the Malaysians on the Move podcast. Joining me as a guest today is Irsal, who lives in New York City. Irsal and I met at a Malaysian gathering in New York a few years ago. He's a huge board games fan and has introduced me to many games. One of them being this game called Puerto Rico, which has like 101 rules, and my head hurt after learning it. I bet Irsal will share more about all these games. So, without any further ado, welcome and hello, Irsal.
Hi, Yoshini. Thanks for inviting me on this podcast. So, it's just a little bit about me. I grew up in Penang, but I wasn't born in Penang. Actually, I was born in Ipoh, grew up in Penang. My parents are university lecturers, specifically USM, and so spend most of my time up to high school basically in Penang. And then I was already a game fan even at that age. Bought board games and played with my cousins and also joined the chess clubs and all that. And also I guess during that time I got into programming, which is how I'm still doing it now as well. So I joined this computer club in my primary school, and then it introduced me to this like very rudimentary programming language called Logo. And then we actually did an exhibition where like I drew some really basic animation of a plane flying, and then get to show it off. One of my highlights was like joining the school band. I played the flute in the school band. I still play it now as a hobby, and I actually joined a local New York band, like just amateurs, nothing professional. So hopefully, we'll get to rehearse and perform by the end of the year, I think.
That's awesome. So that's going to be a good segue for you to share how you got to the United States because you came to the US to study computer science. You fell in love with programming because of the course or the class that you took in primary school.
Not even like a class. So I guess even a long time ago, we had this. They encourage that. Hopefully, Malaysia still continues this. It's high in demand now. How I got to the States was I got a scholarship from Tenaga National. And when I said I wanted to do computer science, they actually say, oh, actually, you know what? We want guys to do more engineering. Computer science is not like that hot at that time. And, TNB, they recommended you to do electrical engineering. So I actually chose a college that does both electrical engineering and computer science. When I got my scholarship, I chose to go to Carnegie Mellon, pretty good university. So that's how I ended up going to college there under the TNB scholarship.
Yeah, Carnegie Mellon has one of the best CS programs. So you were smart. You were like, I like programming. I kind of want to do that. I'm going to sign up and say that I'm taking electrical engineering and computer science. So I meet the scholarship requirements. So after you graduated, I know that you continued to stay on in the US and you got a job, right?
When I graduated, it was 2001. I wanted to actually get a job programming, but funnily enough, 2001 is the dot com crash. So basically, all my interviews for computer science got cancelled, and the only one that I was able to get was for Intel, which is actually a computer engineering job. It's not like exactly computer science, but it's still kind of related. So that's how I get my first start. Yeah, and then I worked there for 4 years.
Right. So you were there for 4 years. So you weren't really programming then?
I was still programming, but I will say that it's like half programming and half hardware design.
Understood. And so, how was that time for you after graduation, landing a job in the dot com bubble burst?
I felt pretty fortunate. Luckily, when I graduated, I actually got a additional master's degree on top of the bachelor's degree. So that actually allowed me to be higher in the list of candidates. Because as a foreign student, it's very difficult to get jobs. I guess everyone who graduated in US gets a chance to work there for a year at that time. And then after a year, I guess Intel was somehow okay enough to extend my stay by applying for my H1B. That's the next step. And then green card, which is means I become a permanent resident.
Right. Yeah. And so you basically became a permanent resident 4 years after.
Yeah, I guess the part I didn't answer is adjusting to Intel was kind of depressing a little bit because Intel was situated in this small town called Worcester, Massachusetts. There's not much going on there. There's not much nightlife. So I spend my time actually playing more board games. That's actually when I really ramped up the board game stuff because everybody in Intel was kind of like nerdy. So we play board games during lunch. We play board games after work. We play board games on the weekend. I mean, I'm not saying like that's all I do, but that's like a pretty major part. But otherwise, I feel like it was a bit lonely, a bit boring. So I guess as soon as my got my green card, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is like a little bit too lonely. I need to get out of here. So I decided to actually go back to Malaysia because I feel like okay, I miss my parents, I miss my siblings growing up. Like, I was close to my cousins and all that, so I wanted to like just hang out with them. So yeah, so I went back to Malaysia. I was able to like get a job. First of all, I got a job with a startup, which like it's a small startup. It didn't pan out like for about a year, and then I transitioned into working with iParentis, which is a IT arm of Petronas.
Oh, okay. And how long were you there for?
I was there for about 4-ish years. That was a fun time. I mean, Intel was okay, but I wouldn't say that was my real the real thing I enjoyed doing. So like Petronas was quite fun because I was given programming projects to do, like things to solve or actual to help actually Petronas with like different things like equipment assessment or like company personnel review program and like a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I can very much relate to how you feel about as a programmer. Like, you really want to solve challenging problems. You want to build solutions to something that hasn't already been built. And you want to be the person to figure that out and take the lead on that. So I can very much relate to that feeling. And it's nice that you got that opportunity in Malaysia specifically, because especially in that time, programming jobs weren't as popular.
Yeah, I have to say that I was pretty fortunate to be able to get into it.
Yeah. And so you were doing this in Kuala Lumpur then?
Yeah, I actually was living with my grandparents, funnily enough. So I didn't have my own house. Like, I was living with my grandparents. They tried to give me pocket money, which is kind of cute. And it was really nice because, it went from being just living by myself for 4 years. Not, it wasn't just my grandparents, my cousins will come and go, my aunts and uncles, of course, my immediate family, also my parents and siblings will come and, visit because, my grandparents are there. So I really enjoyed that time. I was really happy.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Nothing like spending time with family that's getting older. And people here might be, oh, you lived with your family or grandparents as an adult. And I'm all for that, especially if everyone can live together harmoniously and you guys have a good living relationship together. It's actually really fun. And you get to spend so much quality time with people that you love.
No regrets at all.
So, does that mean that when you were in Malaysia, you stopped playing board games?
You know what? I actually kept playing them, not as much as in US, because there's so many other things to do. I actually don't know if I played that much with my family. I guess I think I probably played more with friends outside, but yeah, but I still try to maintain that.
Yeah, and I bet during those years you got to enjoy all the food that Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur has to offer after living in nowhere, Massachusetts for a while.
Although I have to say, I still try to, I go back to Penang to enjoy the actual good food. Sorry, KL people.
We'll take that. We'll take that. I'll take that. Okay, so everything was fine in those years that you went back to Malaysia. So how many was that in total?
So Malaysia was 5 years. So part of it was just a transition period. Part of it is like doing the startup thing, and part of it joining Petronas.
I see. I see. Something must have motivated you to come back to America after those 5 years.
I guess KL, even at that time, is a pricey place to live. And even though I don't pay rent, I mean, like the amount of money I earn for a Malaysian, I think it's decent. But still, I felt like every time things can cost so much so fast. Like, I don't know, you go travel or you buy a gadget thing, that's like a lot for people who are earning in ringgit. So I guess mainly that. I think I also, I felt like, okay, well, I had 5 years, I had my fill of family. I think it's time to try something different. go out venture and do something. So I guess those two are the main reasons why, like, I decided, okay, well, it's time to do something else.
Do you think this feeling built up over 1 or 2 years, or was it very instant where you suddenly woke up and then you felt, 5 years have gone by. I have this sudden urge to like try something new, make more money. I want to return to America.
It started creeping up near the end. I think in the beginning, honeymoon period, 1 2 years, and maybe like the fourth year in. Also, I guess the other thing is like, so I have a green card, right? So one of the requirements is to go back every year, and then that process near the end, I think I got a warning from immigration. It's like, oh, okay, well, you left for more than a year now, so I'm like, okay, well, maybe the next time I come back, I'm probably just gonna stay back in the states. So it's like multiple factors, but that warning kind of pushed it over the edge. I'm like, okay, yeah, I better get back and see what opportunities are there over here.
Understood, understood. So, how did you choose to just go to New York? I mean, coming back to the United States, you could go anywhere.
The market name of New York is very high. Everybody wants to go there. I don't want to live in Worcester, Massachusetts again. Well, let's go for the biggest name. I guess San Francisco was an option, but I just picked like New York
Yeah, I think if I had the option, I would have picked San Francisco because it's in
because of
California.
the weather. You think?
But actually, I was about to get to that. I actually do not like San Francisco weather because it's chilly all year round. When I say chilly, I mean you kind of at least have to have a light jacket all year round, and I don't like that. New York has other things to deal with. I think it's very overstimulating and also it's very expensive, but San Francisco is also very expensive. That was me just giving my own opinion. So carry on.
So actually, one thing I also wanted to do in New York was I thought, okay, well, finance is where people make money. So that's another reason to be in New York. So I wanted to do software. I wanted to be in the financial industry specifically. So that kind of tipped the positive to New York. So yeah, so I came to New York. I actually lined up a few interviews. To be honest, the first few months wasn't that great. Actually, the first month wasn't that great. I had a few interviews. I felt okay. Well, I did not prepare enough for month, I actually prepared a lot harder, like studied a bit more, and then yeah, landed myself I would say a starter job. Yeah, the pay was way better than whatever I can get in Malaysia, of course. So it was a good start. So it's a small company doing this thing called they're basically a matchmaker for professionals, kind of like Match.com, like companies looking for people who are experts in their industries.
That's pretty cool. What year was this?
2010, 2010. Yeah, so 14 years ago. Yeah, actually 14 years ago last week. So it's like my 14th year anniversary almost.
14-year homecoming. So you got this job and did you like it? Did you enjoy the work?
I think I had a really good manager. I felt like he was really smart. He protected me from all this like noise stuff, and I actually got to dig into like interesting things, interesting projects. After maybe like 1.5 years or so, so I joined Power. So it's more of a consulting company. That's where I ended up.
I guess that makes sense, like moving jobs and finding something better after a while. I'm assuming you got a pay rise. How was it like living in New York after moving from Kuala Lumpur?
I think it took a while to settle. Well, first of all, trying to get a job. So I was actually staying with my friends who I knew from Penang. So it was kind of funny. So they're students. I came with a suitcase. I stayed in the path between the living room to the kitchen. That's how like, because New York is small, you don't have a lot of space. So but once I got a job, managed to, get out, and then I started making friends, I guess, in the Malaysian community. So the community is small. Even the friends I stayed with were Malaysians, right? So from then on, like I built this kind of Malaysian network.
Yeah, 100%. So 14 years have gone by since you moved to New York. How would you say your life is different, or is it the same as when you first moved? Do you still play board games? What are your hobbies these days?
So I guess my current hobby is somebody got me into CrossFit. So that's what I've been doing. I feel like, as I get older, I feel like it's a good way to keep your body in shape. Like I wouldn't say I'm in the best shape, but I built my strength, keep my flexibility, challenge myself. just get the heart rate up. It's pretty close to my apartment, so it's like 10 minutes walk, and the community is great. So that's one big activity. I guess the rest of the time, I feel like just same things other people do. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I also play a lot of computer strategy games. So one of my favorite games of all time is called like StarCraft. I watch tournaments. There was a tournament last weekend. Yeah, that's kind of like my other hobbies, I guess.
Yeah, I know about StarCraft. I've heard of it, but I've never seen the game or I don't know much about it. So it's been 14 years for you in New York, and it's been 14 years for me in the United States. And me saying that out loud makes it feel like it's been very long. And this might be a good time to ask you the golden question, which is, do you see yourself going back to Malaysia someday? You've already went back to Malaysia and you've returned to America, and so I guess the question is, do you see yourself going back again?
Just to quick note on that, like so in 2019 I decided, okay, well, I want to go back. And I even had a farewell party and everything. I don't know whether you were there. Everybody said goodbye, and then like at the end of the year I came back. Well, like it's mainly, financial related, and that's I guess why I'm still here. I actually tell people every year that I'm gonna go back next year, which is pretty funny. But when I look at the why my career is right now, it's really there's no other place in the world where like you can have a really good work life experience, interesting challenging projects as a software engineer and get paid really well. Like people actually like value your skills highly over here. I mean, I'm sure other regions have that as well, but I feel like not even like Malaysia. If you go to Europe, you won't get that kind of like compensation and things like that. So it's mainly for financial here, and maybe next year I'll go back. I don't know. I guess it's the same thing every year. I do really want to go back. My parents are getting older. I do love Kuala Lumpur. It's like I would say KL, New York. KL has the edge for me. I spend a lot of time there. A lot of family is there. Food is great. It's a lot cheaper as well. So yeah, I definitely would love to go back.
Right. But you did have a great experience going back and working with Petronas all those years ago. So if you choose to go back, you might still be able to find a relatively good job in Malaysia, especially now that programmers are very high in demand all around the world. That's just me making assumptions that you'll be able to find something good in Malaysia. But I'm assuming that if you choose to go back, you may still be able to do some work and maybe work part time because you would have saved up a lot from living in the US, and then you can spend all that free time with your family.
I mean, there's like I have a lot of different ideas of what I can do when I go back. Just need to pick one and like zone in on it. Yeah, I mean, I'm continuing to have conversations like with you and my friends. Like, okay, what can I do when I go back? Like, when should I go back? Yada yada. What should I do? Like, so many options, and there's still, I still have. I feel like a bunch of years left of my career, so I can still keep working for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Before we wrap, I feel an urge to put you on the spot and ask you a question that is for aspiring Malaysians or anyone around the world that want to get into the field of computer science and programming. What advice would you give them?
That's a really good question. I feel like nowadays with the internet and all those, like there's so many free resources. There's pretty much it's kind of easy for me to say since I've already done the experience and I'm not gonna go through the first time experience again. But I really feel pick a project and just do it. It doesn't matter. Don't get analysis paralysis trying to figure out, what technology should I choose. Just pick something. Like, I wanna write a game, just write a game. I wanna create a website, just create a website. I wanna do a crypto thing, just do a crypto thing. And you will, if you want it and you commit to it, the resources are available for you. And you can also reach out to me. I think this is a great career. It's very interesting, very lucrative, and we definitely need more people. I feel like there's even in US, sometimes there's not enough good talent out there. So I'm definitely very interested in developing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is so awesome to hear. And I think if you do go back to Malaysia, you have a new career opportunity waiting for you, which is to probably set up your own business to teach this, or maybe like nudge the Malaysian government to be like, hey, you need to add computer science as like a form 5, form 4 class. something like that. Now I'm just saying random things, but that was awesome advice. Irsal, it was so great to have you on this podcast to share your story. And I know you've been saying you want to go back to Malaysia very often, and every year you're like, I'm going to go back next year. But I really hope that you are able to figure out what you want to do the next couple of years. And in any case, you will have the option to always return to America. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks, Yoshini.
All right, everybody, that is a wrap. If you would like to connect with Irsal, you can find his social links in the episode description. Thank you so much for listening.